Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am coming to you on this Saturday, March 9th, 2024, and I am here with my next update video. One that I don't expect to take very long, because it's only been a week since I last filmed, and I have a few things that I've worked on, but certainly not a ton, and not a lot in the way of plans, so yeah, I think that this is going to be a fairly quick one today, which is good because I'm looking forward to getting back to stitching. Speaking of which, welcome everybody. Welcome to both my returning viewers as well as anybody who is new here. Maybe you're here checking out my channel for the first time. Thank you all so much for spending part of your day with me. I super appreciate it. I really do. FlossTube. I say this all the time, but like really, FlossTube is so big. And I've been doing this for a really long time, so I just really appreciate y'all who find me and come to check me out, and also those who have stuck with me for any length of time. I just appreciate you all. So I think we're really just gonna dive right in, which is a much quicker get up and go than typical. But looking through the comments on my last video, I don't really have a whole lot in the way of questions. So yeah, not much in the preamble. So let's just jump right in and get started with a finish, because that's what's on top of my pile, even though it was not the When We Last Spoke project. So we're going to start with a finish. I had a finish this week, which is very, very fun. So towards the beginning of the week, I'm fairly certain it was Sunday, actually. So on Sunday, I spun my whip wheel and it pulled Dumbo by Mandarinx Designs. So preview here of what it would look like finished, even though I have the finish to show you here. So I worked on this a lot on Sunday. I did a lot of stitching on Sunday. I had a really, really productive day on Sunday. And then on Monday, I had a good chunk of the back stitch left to finish up. So that, it really only took about a day and a half, like a really, really good day and a half. So let me show you the finished piece, and then I will talk to you about all the details and all the fun stuff. You know, for it being highly overcast, this looks pretty fantastic. It's looking really, really accurate in a way that I don't think full sunlight really gives us. So this is working out. Yeah, super cute and little design, really. So this was a WIPGO call for me for the month of March from my focus on a finished board, my non-full coverage board. And I had about, I want to say about 1,200 cross stitches left to do. And then all of the back stitch, I saved all of the back stitch to the end. If I was smarter, I would have taken a picture from the piece before I did the backstitch and then the after, so that y'all could see the comparison, but I didn't do that. So I have, as close as I can, a comparison to the before and after backstitch, but it's not a completed cross stitch before the backstitch bit. Anyway, I think it's adorable. I mean, I'm super pleased with it. I started this in November of 2020. Just a couple of months before my daughter was born, and finished it up after 13 total stitching days over the course of almost 3.5 years. 13 days, that's all it took. This is just a really fun stitch. There are a couple of blends, and there is the background is all in half stitch. Not sure how well you can see that. My fabric is a 32 count Belfast linen in Florin by Under the Sea Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month, and I'm not sure if it's in her regular line, but nonetheless, that's the fabric I did it on. Using a hot pink fabric. I had to get a little bit creative. So yeah, so there is Dumbo. And I am looking forward to stitching more of Mandarinx Designs. They have a stitch, like a Lilo and Stitch design that I would really like to maybe get kitted up and ready to go. So that is Dumbo, and I have to name and blame here. The whole inspiration for starting this and for stitching it was Alma of Alma's Little Wonders. She was the first one that I knew of that was doing the Mandarinx designs, and so I definitely wanted to follow suit. So much fun. This was really a fun stitch. Okay, let's get into works in progress. Let's get into the things that I haven't finished yet. So when last we spoke, I last filmed on Friday the 1st, and I was working on Touching the Autumn Sky. So that lives in this project bag here. This is a Christine Stitch All the Things bag. And Touching the Autumn Sky is by Mirabilia. This is an out-of-print, highly sought-after pattern that I have on loan from a friend. And this is a piece that I'm working on every month for at least 500 stitches a month. Maybe I can see the finish by the end of the year. That's kind of the stretch goal. At least 500 stitches, and hopefully that brings me close enough to where I can just get it done. So, like I said, I was working on this on that Friday, and I finished up my 500 stitch goal that day. So, let me show you here. So here we are. This fabric is a 32 count Belfast in Moana by Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I was working on the jacket this last rotation. So filled in some more of the jacket, and I am working on the hair conversion, just trying to make sure that I get a good kind of darker blonde to match my kiddo and what my hair would look like when I was a kid. So that's the plan there. And so next month when I work on this again in April, I'm going to work on her hair and then start my working my way down kind of process. So that is Touching the Autumn Sky. Love this one. After Touching the Autumn Sky, I spun my whip wheel, and the next piece it pulled was this absolute favorite. Another of my small monthly goal pieces. This is a bag from Stitch and Button. Vicky over at Stitch and Button, who is always linked in the description box below. I have a section in my description box of the project bag makers that I show where in which there is something to link. Okay, so in here is Ragnarok. This is by Long Dog Samplers, and I don't think I've shown this on video in some time because I think I showed this in the video that I never uploaded. So Ragnarok by Long Dog Samplers, preview here. Again, a small monthly goal of just 500 stitches. This one I always tend to go over. I wasn't really expecting to with this one because my husband and I actually had date day. We went to go see Dune, Dune Chapter 2, which was a lot of fun. It was really nice to get out and go to the movies. And so I didn't think that I was going to get a lot of extra stitching on this, but I ended up doing, I think, like 800 stitches because this is a 40 count linen and I'm stitching with one strand of Anchor Black, and so the thread goes forever. It just really, it goes for a long time. And so if I use one length of black, one 6-strand length, I mean, that's 600 stitches right there. So this is not going to show up super crisp and super clear because this fabric is impossible. It's just really difficult to photograph and show on video accurately. And it's going to make all of the colors go real weird. The fabric is 40 count Newcastle linen in Sweeney Red by Dames of the Needle. And so yeah, 500 stitches is not a lot, especially for this big piece. This one has over 60,000 total stitches in it, so it's not small by any stretch. In February, I completed page 1 and got a really small start on page 2 in February, and so here in March, I got to the right side of page 2. And in doing so, I reached the midway point. So that was pretty cool to get there. And I love this. I mean, I really, really love this. I didn't do a whole lot of like super fun things. It was a lot of this just long lines up top here. But I got some negative space birds, and I finished out the word last. And I got some more of these funky spikes. So where I'm at currently is not like the most fun to look at, but nonetheless, I really, really love stitching this. One thing that I did want to note is that I am stitching this with Pattern Keeper. Obviously the back stitch I have to look at separately. But one thing to note with Long Dogs and Pattern Keeper, and I have this issue with this one and also with my opening gambit. Because of the way that Jules does her overlaps, it's like they're big overlaps between the pages. And the way that Pattern Keeper reads this chart and opening gambit is it inserts an extra row. So it, at the bottom of the page or at the top of the subsequent pages, it repeats a whole row. So just be mindful of that if you're working on a Long Dog and Pattern Keeper. It may have an extra row in there that actually isn't supposed to be there. The only reason that I would have that I was able to notice it is that this little sawtooth border over here, there was like a visible extra row there where it just wasn't supposed to be there. So just be mindful of that. It's an issue that I've had in 2 of the 4 that I have uploaded into Pattern Keeper. Kinto Okuto, the pointed fifth, and Sansusi don't have that issue, but these 2 do. Anyway, I love this. I really, really do. And I always look forward to putting this one on the frame. It only ever stays for a day, but I get really good progress for that one day. So that's good enough, I think, I guess, I suppose. So there is my Ragnarok. We are zipping right through. Okay, so finish up Ragnarok. Then I worked on Dumbo. Once I finished Dumbo, I spun the whip wheel again. And apparently my whip wheel doesn't like full coverage this month because next it pulled my other non-full coverage whip go piece, which lives in this project bag. This is also by Stitch and Button. Love this pretty bag. And in here lives one of my favorites. This is a piece that I knew I wasn't going to finish this month. I have quite a bit more to do on it than meets the eye. I think I have about 3,000 stitches left still today. But this is My Day Complete by Kathy Barrick. I really, really enjoyed this piece. It is a lot of fun to stitch, and it, you know, I'm so into 1-strand stitching, so 40 count or 25 count with my full coverage. And this is on a 40 count as well. So that is My Day Complete. If I know I'm not going to finish the non-full coverage piece, then my goal is at least 1,500 stitches. So this one got almost 1,600 stitches, which is pretty good. This is on a 40 count Newcastle linen in Eggnog by Color and Cotton. It was a fabric of the month in November of 2021. And there's a ton of margins off the sides. So here is where I am to now. So the bird is done. And I think the bird looks fantastic. Just really, really cool. Got the tail finished and added in the details of the feathers and the spots on the wing. And finally found my skein of 3021 so I could do the beak and the eye. So yeah, the bird is all finished. The leaves on this branch are all finished except for backstitch. These ones in black with the corners, those have a little bit of backstitch in them that I haven't done yet. And then I brought the tree trunk down. There's a lot of of that left to do. Before I stitched this section, I had 1,100 stitches of this color left. So quite a big chunk left to do. The other thing that I have to work out is what I'm going to do with the initials, because there are 5 sets of initials: EM, KB, KGL, DK, and DF. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with those initials yet, and also with the date plate. I may change the date plate. I thought about, since the sentiment of the saying, I cannot count my day complete till needle, thread, and fabric meet, I thought about putting 2013 in here, because that's when I started stitching. So that may be a thing. So I'm gonna have to think about what initials I put in here. Stitchy people or family, I don't know. So something to think about. So met my 1500 stitches. This piece is supposedly done for the year, but a lot like Jane Walker that I talked about in my last video, I could break this up and try to finish it this year. I'm really just in the mood for finishes. I am super hyper focused on finishes, be it page finishes or project finishes. I'm just really in the mood to finish things. And so, like, I could see myself committing to 500 stitches a month. That would see this done by the end of the year. Easily, like really easily. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if I'm adding to my already very full plans, then nothing's gonna get done. So we'll see. See how it goes. But yeah, really love this one, and looking forward to working on it again, hopefully before the end of the year. After I met the goal on my day complete, I said, never mind you, whip wheel. I'm gonna pull out some full coverage. And so I decided to go with my largest goal for full coverage this month. Plus, I don't exactly have my 2 full coverage whip go pieces fully ready. Ravenkin, I don't have all of the threads pulled. I just got some thread organizers to get that one ready to go. Even though it's a page into it, I'm now going to start getting into more of the colors rather than the 2 or 3 that comprised page 1. So I need to have that fully ready to go. And then Magic Study, which you're going to see here in just a minute, I'm working on reorganizing my threads for that, but I'm about halfway through that process. So I decided to go with my biggest goal and one that was ready to go. And that is Personal Sunshine. So Personal Sunshine is by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Jeremiah Kettner. Jeremiah Kettner is no longer with Heaven and Earth Designs, and so this is a retired chart. And this is my focus on a finish this year. It is my full coverage focus for the year. It is my piece that I broke up into 12, and I'm working towards the finish by December. And it is also my oldest full coverage piece. So I'm just gonna prop this. Nope, I'm not. Okay. So what we have here is a start of page 9. So this is the page that I'm working on, a start of page 9. And so I've worked on this for, today is day 4, and my goal for the month is the page finish, because I'm trying to get at least 1 page finish a month for as long as I can keep up that trend. Hopefully beyond the year 2024, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, that is where I am up to with Personal Sunshine. I am going traveling this coming week, and so I'm not going to get this page finished before I go, but I expect that I'll get the page finished pretty quickly once I get back. So some fun things happened this morning. I got up extra super early this morning for some just extra early morning quiet time, stitching time, and I hit 2 milestones today. The first one I teased about on Instagram, on my stories. I crossed the 50% mark. So as of today, I am over 50%. In fact, the absolute middle of this piece is somewhere in this page over here. So that's kind of cool. The second milestone is that I zeroed out my first color. Hooray! And it's not a purple, it's a brown. So let me see if I can move these threads out of the way. I've started on my next diagonal, and in my next diagonal was a thread that occurred once in this top partial block and once in the block below, and so I just went ahead and completed that stitch because a zero. I wanted my first zeroed out color, so I hit 50% first and then got my first zeroed out color, and that just is so much fun. That's just really fun to watch that trend downward. On my thread organizer, when I zero out a color, I use a Sharpie and cover over the symbol on my thread organizer, and so that was just satisfaction, like marking things off, checking things off, getting things done. This is 85 colors, I think, in this design, so a long way to go yet, but nonetheless, I got my first zero. This page will see the finish of, I think, 3 or 4 more colors. There is a pink flower in the bottom right corner of this page that will zero out some colors, so that's very exciting. It's so funny because I have less than 53,000 stitches left. Less than 53,000 left. And 15,000 of those remaining is black. So like I have colors that are in the single digits and then 15,000 stitches of black left. That's too funny. It's, you know, like 20%, more than 20% of the remaining design is black. So, very cool. Milestones reached this morning. And I am really looking forward to diving back into this afternoon. Once I get this video posted for you all, I am really in the mood to work on this. I am very close to finishing out this cloud's arms, which I can't believe I'm saying out loud in one complete sentence. This side of the sun is finishing up. Yeah, just some cool stuff. Cool stuff happening. This is a 25 count antique white Lugana from Zweigart. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross with the called for DMC. I have subbed out the black for anchor black because I think it gives a little bit, just a little bit better coverage in the 1/1. So that is Personal Sunshine. And that's all that I'm currently working on. We're really zipping through. So let's get into just a really brief conversation about plans. It is currently WIPGO weekend, which is really just a weekend that some folks use to focus on their WIPGO pieces this weekend. It happens the second full weekend of every month. The aim is for you to set smaller goals. So perhaps your larger goal is to finish it, then for WIPGO weekend you would set a smaller goal. And so I am trying to participate in WIPGO weekend. Both of my non-full coverage pieces are done for the month, and so here is a full coverage piece that I'm hoping I can get to tomorrow, if I can get my threads organized like I mentioned. So this is Magic Study. I don't think I'm going to take this out of the bag again because it was kind of a pain to get it reorganized, but you can see where I'm starting from here. I set my WIPGO weekend goal at just 500 stitches, so I think I could do that tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see. And this bag is by DM's Crafty Vortex. So that is Magic Study. Also Heaven Earth Designs, also a retired chart. So as I mentioned, this week I'm traveling. Just my mom, my brother, and I, we are headed up to Michigan to have a memorial, kind of more of a family get-together memorial for my Aunt Colleen, who passed on Christmas last year. So we're gonna all get together and probably cry and play cards and do that sort of stuff. Baby Does Stuff is gonna stay here with my husband, because that's just not a great setting for a toddler. And so we're going to be up there for a few days visiting with family and crying, like I said. So I'm going to take some stitching with me, and we'll see if I get to any of it. So let me show you what that is real quick. The first is Living in This Project Bag by Black Cat X Stitchery. This is my monthly Quaker, and I'm currently working on May. So let me show you real quickly my starting point. I've already shown this, I think, unless it was in the video I never uploaded. But so May Quaker from the Heart Needleart by Wendy, and I am stitching this on a 28 count antique white cashel linen. I'm stitching them 1/1 full cross with the DMC conversion that Wendy provides. And so you can see the few that I have done on this piece of fabric that I have not used very effectively. But anyway, so here is my May Quaker. I have that giant motif finished. I have this one started. This is one of my small monthly goal pieces, and my small monthly goal is one large motif. However, I'm going to try to finish this month because I like finishes. So at the minimum, I'm going to stitch this motif and finish this one and all these little ones up and around here. But by the time I get all of that done, I'm just going to have this little bit to do, so I might as well just finish it. So this is going to be the first thing that I try to work on while traveling. And as I said, the DMC conversion that Wendy provides there. So yeah, looking forward to this. This one stitches up fairly quickly, if I can spend some time on it. If for whatever reason I finish that really fast and have more time to stitch, I'm taking 2 backup projects. The first is something else I'd like to finish this month. This is the 2023 Collector's Heart by Heart and Hand. This came as a full kit with the floss and the fabric, and the chart and the button. And I started this last year, and this looks like it would be a fairly fast finish if I could just spend some good time on it. The fabric is a 32 count Heartland by Picture This Plus, 32 count Belfast linen. And so that color is showing up really, really good. The thread is Cottage Garden threads in leather bound. Really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. So if for whatever reason I finish up May Quaker real quick, then I can work on this. I've also thought this is a bit of a struggle for me, this piece, because the lengths on this are really short. They're a little too short for my preference. And this Picture This Plus linen is starchy. It's really, really not very soft, not very forgiving. So this is a bit of a struggle piece for me. And so I've thought about doing like 100 stitches a day or a strand a day on this, which might be something, that might be one way to get it accomplished. So that is where I'm starting with the 2023 Collector's Heart. My plan C, if you will, if I finish both of these, if for whatever reason there's a ton of stitching time, which I don't anticipate, but you never know, then I'm also bringing the threads for the June Quaker so that I could start that potentially. I really don't think I'm going to get to all of this, but it's good to have backups. So that is it for the plans. I get back on Sunday, and then I'm going to dive right back into Personal Sunshine until I get that page finished, and then see what the whip wheel has in store. Speaking of plans, obviously I'm not going to film next week because I'll be to town. So I'm hoping to be back in about 2 weeks so I can talk to you about what I've worked on between here and then, believe it or not, at that point we'll be getting ready to do whip go calls for April. And I can't really fathom the fact that we're already talking about whip go calls for April, but nonetheless, here we are. Such is the passage of time. So that's going to be the plan there, the hope. Okay, let's dive into some haul and then get you out of here so that y'all can move on to what I'm sure is an extensive wash later list, much like mine. Okay, I don't have much in the way of haul here, but I do have some project bags. At the beginning of the year, Spoonflower sent me an email and they said, hey, we've got a sale for you. And so I went and bought some fabrics and I sent them to Stitch and Button. And I said, can you make me some bags? And she said, okay, sure. And I sent her a bunch of extras so that she could make some for the shop as well. So let me show you those. And then I got one extra because I was on Zoom, and what happens when you're on Zoom with Vic is that she goes, these are the bags I'm getting ready to sew, and then you me, please. That's what happens to me anyway. So, okay, we're gonna save my two absolute favorites for the bottom. All of these are fantastic. So the fabrics that I got are the outer fabrics, and then she has a stash to pull the interiors. So this Van Gogh Sunflowers I thought was really, really gorgeous. And she does the custom zipper pulls, and so it's got a pretty sunflower charm on it. And I also got for each of these the Ord books, because I really love her Ord books to throw my hanging out floss. And so you can see the interior fabric there that she chose. Really, really cool faces in there. So this is for Sunflower House. So I have the project bag, and I have the floss, and I have the chart. I just need to get the fabric. So that is that. I haven't put any of these to use yet. So I'm really excited to do that now. Now that I've shown them, they can go to work. I don't always pay attention to that rule, but I did this time. So next is this one. This is 4 Seasons Flowers. So pictured here are flowers from each of the 4 seasons, and I don't know what's what and from which season, but nonetheless, that's what the fabric was called. And this is for my January birth flower. Because I thought, if I'm going to do a family piece kind of scenario where I do January and April and December, that they could all live in this. And so here's the Ord book, and then the interior fabric. Super, super pretty. Some of these she still has 1 or 2. And then this one came with a charm that says Imagine. Super cool. So there is that one. Okay, next. Oh, this one might be these next 2 are contenders for favorites. I don't know what's going in this, so maybe y'all can help me. For those of you who maybe know my projects really well, what's gonna go in this? Is this not the greatest thing? I love this. I love this so much. Spoonflower has several lines of suggestive vegetables and plants. They have a series of mushrooms, and they have a series of cacti that all are very suggestive. And I'm obsessed. I love this so much. I think it's just fantastic. There might be a new start that goes in this, because I have a fabric from Fortnite called Girthy Stem, and I just feel like that needs to live in this project bag. So maybe I need to figure out what's going on Girthy Stem before I put this in there. And then there's the interior fabric that she chose. Really, really cool. I love this print so much. It's just so much fun. I wish that I had taken a picture of my husband's face when I showed him that one. It was pretty funny. Okay, and this one popped up in like my, you might like this, on various social media ads, targeting to ads, and they were correct. So this Rainbow Dragons fabric is so cool. This is really what spurred all of this. I thought, well, if I'm gonna send her one, I might as well send her a few. This one I sent a couple of yards because I knew that this one was going to be fairly popular, given the year of the dragon, and everybody's obsessed with dragons. And in here is going to live my Spring Dragon by Ingleside Imaginarium, because I, number one, don't have a project bag for that piece, and number two, I'd really like to continue with Brittany's dragon series. So I thought this one was pretty perfect. And she picked this kind of smoky looking interior. So that's really cool. So those are the 4 that I sent to her. And like I said, some of those are still in the shop. I don't know which ones at this point. This is the one that I got when we were just hanging out on Zoom and she was showing the ones that she was getting ready to upload. I did really good. I mean, I did really good up until, like, I think this was the last one she showed, honestly. So it's this really, really lovely bag. Have you all seen the color purple design from the Shaded Stitchery? Nuri knocked it out of the park with that piece. And so when Vic showed this bag, I was like, yeah, those 2 things have to happen together. So I'm going to pick up that design, get that kitted up. It might be a birthday start. We'll kind of have to wait and see. And in here are the hands. Super cool. Love this bag. And this one has the tag of Inspire. So those are the project bags. And during that spiel, I will have inserted a picture of the color purple sampler. Oh, it's stunning. I really, really like everything that Nuri does with the Shaded Stitchery. And so I'm really looking forward to stitching that one along with everything else. So I think that's it. I have finished a book, but we talk about books towards the end of the month, and no knitting yet to report. So that's it. That's all we have to talk about today. I'm going to head off here, get this quick little video edited and uploaded for you all. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support of me and my channel. I hope you're all well. I hope you're staying safe. And as always, be kind. I will see you in the next one. Take care.